Good evening and welcome. My name is Aaliyah and I'm a representative of the Landsat PR Consultancy, and we're here to discuss tonight the Canadian oil sands and the public relations campaign of 2010. And tonight I'd like to welcome our distinguished guests from the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers and Syncrude Canada, Suncor Energy and Albion Sands. Canadians are very concerned about the environmental and social impact of oil sands development. We need to listen to that concern. More importantly, we need to respond to it. Now, those are the words of Rick George, CEO of Suncor Energy. As a response to the growing concerns of Canadians and also the international public, the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers has put together a video to try and counterbalance that. The video that you've just viewed on YouTube by the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers has only had a viewing list of about 13,000. This is interesting when we consider that the video was uploaded September 9th, 2009. The video was intended to show from birth to rebirth of the oil sands and the restoration process. The CAPP's video is quite different and quite unlike the one that the National Geographic and other organisations have produced and uploaded. Their videos happen to show more realistic pictures, real photographs, real footage, which might be the key part to what is more convincing to the audience. There's been a lot of negative media attention for the Canadian oil sands, particularly in 2010. Some of the negative media includes the National Geographic, who have showed the mining process, but not in a positive light. Al Jazeera was another television network that showed negative media towards the Canadian oil sands, and that was only in May of this year. Let us also remember that we have key players, and of course Barack Obama and his voice and his push for the United States to stop the addiction to foreign oil. His talk may not have seemed to have such a great impression initially. However, his words are resounding and are going across to the American public. The recent oil spill from British Petroleum, or BP, is just the catalyst that President Obama might be using to push a green energy bill later this year to transition from oil to other sources. Should the green energy bill be passed later this year in 2010, there will be repercussions. However, Canada is the second largest producer of oil in the world, only just behind Saudi Arabia, and is already exporting millions of barrels of oil to the United States of America. The key points of our next advertising campaign should be as follows. 1. The need for energy. 2. Environmental impacts are real. This is a crucial point in actually saying that we acknowledge this, because any attempt to try and say that there is no environmental impact does not work well. 3 is responsibility. Now, the way we actually want to show responsibility is by relating to the audience and the carbon footprint, maybe even asking a rhetorical question. How are you reducing your carbon footprint? What measures are you using? From that point, once we have related to our audience, then we can start to talk about all of the things that we're doing, our responsible measures. Some of those simple innovations and measures include things like recycling water, improving energy efficiency, progressive reclaiming of all of the lands and returning them to self-sustaining landscapes over time. And 4, internships, younger people. By promoting internships, we're actually connecting more to the public and looking at innovative strategies. So it seems a little bit more appealing. Not only does it seem more appealing, but it also shows that we are taking measures to invite those to come and help us. There are some fundamental aspects when we're looking at the public. One of them is a connection to families and to cars. A second one is more of an association to North American oil. A third one is responsible environmental impact. And fourth is cost. The financial measure is incredibly significant. If we were to eradicate the oil sands, imagine the increasing cost of petrol. There are also keywords and phrases that should be used in our campaign. Since there is quite a lot of animosity towards foreign oil, we need to promote ourselves as North American oil. There are three sectors to our campaign. The first one is creating short, clear, emotive videos that are going to relate to our audience. These videos could be featured on websites and also promoted on YouTube. Phase 2 includes making videos and snippets of media that we can actually distribute to international media corporations. What we want to focus on these set of videos is innovative science technology. This is something that we want to be able to distribute to networks who actually focus on science or technology and innovation, so we're promoting ourselves in that way. The third section is about our ongoing commitment to society, providing internships, ongoing learning. In phase 1 of our campaign, some of our videos can focus on the need for technologies and the need for an energy source to use them. We use our cars every day to get to work, to drop our children off to school. Yes, indeed, there are alternatives. You can ride a bike and so on. But for the majority of people in the United States of America, they're using our cars. That's why our advertising campaign should start with a need. We need to relate to the people. Showing images like what we have done with the previous campaign of computer-generated environmental plants and things growing really isn't convincing. Yet if we can relate to the public by showing them an image, the simple car, the home car that we have, it's going to relate to them more because they use it every day. So our campaign can't just show cars exclusively. There has to be that emotional connection for the audience, like their families, or perhaps even a road trip they've taken. Once they have that emotional attachment to the actual use of cars and also to the values that are there, they realize that it is something that they use and an energy source is important. So, after our campaign is in place, will this necessarily mean that all Canadians will love the oil sands, forget about slander, no more negative valence? Well, this is something we cannot promise. What is most likely to happen is that our image will be one that is a little bit more believable, something that is a little bit more real, showing what we're actually doing now, as opposed to just focusing on computer-generated images, showing real images, real people. We're not avoiding that there are environmental concerns. We're actually saying that there are and what strategies are in place. As technologies increase, as legislation may change, as needs may change around the world, as long as we're meeting some of those needs and responding to those concerns, we will be able to be in business for a much longer time and have a much greater image. To put a cost on this, well, I would say would be invaluable. We do have some figures, and the rest of our PR team will be sending some follow-up information over the next week as to how we can meet those targets financially and what that will mean for you in the long run. So thank you for joining us for the evening. We hope that you have been able to see how valuable this is and how much we'll be able to do in the future.